Welcome back to Wine, Whiskey, and Words, the podcast where we drink boldly, talk loudly, and overthink just about everything. I'm Brad, your host, wine enthusiast, music addict, and someone who believes every good conversation starts with a bold opinion and ends with, okay, but now I'm questioning my entire personality. And as always, I'm joined by my co host, Daniel, a man who treats Google like a second brain, still believes rebooting fixes everything, including relationships, and has strong opinions about things he learned 5 minutes ago. He's the whiskey to my wine, the logic to my insanity, and the reason at least one listener yells at their car radio every episode. Together, we've tackled life's pressing questions like should malls still exist, or are we just wandering temples of nostalgia and Auntie Anne's? How do you take care of aging loved ones without losing your sanity or your streaming passwords? What do you do when your coworker is clearly the villain in their own spin off series? And which comedians deserve God tier status, and which ones peaked in 1998 but refused to accept it? But today, we're talking about love. What is love, really? Is it a feeling, a choice, a chemical trick played by your brain, or just trauma with better PR? Can everyone feel love the same way, or are some of us out here loving deeply while others are just politely tolerating people? We're digging into big questions like is love something you're born able to feel, or something you learn or unlearn? Why does love make smart people do wildly stupid things? Can you overthink love right out of existence? Asking for a friend. And how much of love is romance versus timing, luck, and unresolved issues? So grab a glass, lower your expectations, and join us as we unpack one of the most talked about, misunderstood, and emotionally chaotic experiences humans have ever invented. This is Wine, Whiskey, and Words, where the pours are heavy, the opinions are honest, and the definition of love is very much up for debate.
As always, you nailed it, except for I use Google as my first brain, not my second.
Oh,
So
there we
just
go.
so you know.
All right.
Well, this week we're gonna do a couple new flavors that we haven't tried from our friends over at Homosassa Distillate.
Okay.
I know we tried their whiskey not too long ago, and it was pretty good. I think we tried their rums early on, but this time I'm gonna try some little one-offs. One of the things that they do a lot of at Homosassa Distillery is they have a line of moonshines. They have a regular one that's straight, and then they have several flavored. And I'm not a big flavored moonshine guy. I'm not really a big moonshine guy in general, but I tried this particular flavor. This is their huckleberry. I don't even know what a huckleberry is. Like I assume it's a real thing,
I think it's a character in a cartoon.
right? Yeah, that's
Huckleberry
about it.
Hound.
All I know, or Huck Finn from Tom Sawyer.
But
But
his name's not Huckleberry. What? Maybe
yeah, it
Huck?
is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, I did. I thought it was just Huck.
no, I'm pretty sure it's Huckleberry. I think Huck
Okay.
is the shortened version.
All right then.
But anyway, this is their Huckleberry Moonshine, and I actually really like this. And they in their tasting room do a cocktail with iced tea that is apparently quite lovely. I did not try it, but I thought I'd get a bottle and that we could share a little and see what we think. Brad, I'm gonna let you go first and give your thoughts.
Oh God. It's You definitely get that berry. It's kind of like a like a like a pixie stick kind of.
Yeah, you can kind
Yeah.
of
It's
smell it. Like
yeah.
it does smell like a cherry
But
pixie
then you
stick or
get
something.
that weird after.
Well, it's got that like corn mash flavor like a moonshine often does.
the The flavor is the same, but then it falls off immediately. Like you could there and there's zero burn.
Yeah, you could sip on this over ice all day long.
I probably wouldn't though.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't our everyday drinker, but I thought it was interesting enough and worth a share.
Yeah.
Again, I really was impressed with this place. It's small; they're just getting started. I think they're less than 2 years old, but they're doing some neat things, and the character of their tasting room and their little bar that they have is second to none. I don't think I've ever been to a tasting room I thought was more attractive. If you're into that whole like southern woodsy thing.
Yeah, this is about all I could take of that.
Okay.
Um just because it's not my thing. The
Yeah.
I'd want there to be, I mean, for me I like more of that if I'm doing something sweet, more of the citrus.
I can see that. Yeah, this is definitely a mixer for me. I plan on getting some making some iced tea and
There you go.
having a little moonshine. Like I feel like moonshine to me is just something that you use to mix into other things.
Y-
I'm not a sipper or a shooter of
It
moonshine.
does kind of taste similar to that, like some of that berry sweetened iced tea.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to go really well with some iced tea. But I actually was more impressed by this. This is their Kingfisher gin. And, I know you like gin, I like
Yeah.
gin, but a common complaint about gin is that it's like drinking a Christmas tree. And I talked to the guys, and they said that they actually spent like 6 months on their own experimenting with different recipes and finally reached out to someone who is an expert, like a university expert in making gin. And she actually helped them refine and test this recipe. And I thought they did a really good job. It doesn't come off too much like a Christmas tree. I'm gonna let you taste a little neat, and then we'll make some gin and tonics for our conversation.
All right. And by the way, if the video is shaking a little bit, it's because we have a little friend that is sitting up top where the camera is resting.
Yes,
And so when Frank scratches, it
yes.
shakes.
We're not experiencing an earthquake in Florida. Um,
Well,
I mean, you do like the nose of it is like any gin. You get a little,
yeah.
but it's not overwhelmingly piney.
No.
All right, Brad, why don't you get us started on something interesting? I'm gonna make us some cocktails.
Okay. A few things going on with me. So I've decided um, zero gambling for me until my next cruise.
Oh wow!
So nothing, not even like Super Bowl squares, nothing. Um,
Except for every time you come on this podcast with me.
no gambling.
Right, it's just a gamble. You never know
Oh,
what you're gonna
jeez.
get.
I was like, then also what I'm also gonna do is at least on days that I don't work doubles, I'm gonna do at least a half an hour of some form of exercise.
That's a very healthy goal, Brad. I think that's probably something
That's
we
what
should
I'm
all aspire to.
trying to do.
Whoa! Don't explode. Thank you for bringing the tonic and
You're
limes, Brad.
welcome.
I meant to get those and just kept forgetting.
Sure.
Well, interesting in my life, I'm kind of on a little winning streak, and I hope I didn't just jinx it with pool. I'm pretty happy with that. I probably mentioned this last episode. I accepted a new position at work. I'll let you squeeze if you want.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm kind of wearing two hats right now, but it's a fun challenge. I'm kind of excited about it, and I'm getting to do some things that I haven't done in years. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, life is good. Just overwhelmingly busy. I feel like we thought it would slow down after the holidays, and here we are, a month past the holidays, and maybe it'll slow down in March.
There you go. Oh, and so I was in Winter Park, hanging out with Kirsten uh, last night, and went to her choir practice.
Okay,
So it was held in a church.
as they are.
Yes.
Frequently.
Well, it was one of the community rooms of the
Okay.
church, but I didn't burst into flame.
Well, you must be doing something right.
Hmm.
All right. Well, so our episode. Do we do anything else? Or we have another topic? Like the things. What are the other
We
things we
could.
do?
Well, we've got the Reddit.
Do we do that before the
We're
topic
gonna do
or
that
after?
after the topic.
All right. All right. Well, then I'll just launch right in. So our topic this week is what is love? What is love?
Yes. And so a few things that I found in researching love is it's mentioned a few times in ancient texts. The Sumerian around 2000 BCE, the love song of Shusen is the earliest known love poem expressing erotic and ritualistic love. And we're hoping that Frank does not knock it over.
Frank, please don't knock this over.
Oh,
All right.
yep, okay.
The wine glasses and the camera have survived for the moment.
Thank you.
So yeah,
All right. And so in the first biblical mention of love is in Genesis, describes Abraham's profound love for his son Isaac, highlighting parental devotion. By the way, um, one of the talents of Frank, he just opened up the door
yeah,
himself. He unlocked the door.
yeah. When Frank wants to leave a room, he just opens the door.
Yeah,
He's very adept at handles. So
yeah. So the English word love comes from the Proto-Indo-European
so
root.
can we go back for a second?
Okay.
You said that like I mean I get that Genesis has a great many of the stories from uh that people know best from the Bible, but
Hmm.
so it's not until Abraham that we actually hear anything about love.
Correct.
It's an interesting contrast to like the New Testament, which is like very much about love. But anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the as I was saying, the English word love comes from the Proto-Indo-European root liub. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, meaning care or desire, around 5,000 years ago, and that evolved into Proto-Germanic lubo, then Old English lufu, covering deep affection, desire, and love for God.
Hmm, I did
Cool
not know that.
stuff. Yeah.
So I actually did not find any of that. I love it when we kind of go in different
Well,
directions
this
to
is
our
the first
approach.
time that I've actually
Done any research?
researched. Yeah.
Well, you one upped me because I didn't do much research at all. So I actually feel like the idea of love has probably been around as long as humanity, and I think that I personally have been through phases where I didn't really believe in love. I just thought it was like a chemical imbalance that we have to deal with that tells us, hey, I want a mate or I want some security or whatever those motivations are. But I didn't really feel like it was a real thing. Then, of course, I've been married twice, so I felt like it was real enough,
As they say, the
at
third
least
time's the charm.
at least twice in my life. But no, like I think there's a lot of like history and philosophy of love. I started reading about the philosophy of love and it's really boring. Really, really, really boring.
Well,
But
there's a lot of different ways to look at it.
yeah.
And when I was looking at it, at first seeing different forms of love.
Yeah.
I mean, there's intimacy, passion, commitment, compassionate love, romantic love, platonic love, familial
Self-love.
love, self love. Yes, but then there's scientific and philosophical ways to look at it, like hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, and norepinephrine play roles in bonding and attraction.
Yeah.
And then psychology, love keeps people bonded, provides emotional regulation, and is essential for well-being. And then there's other people view it as a choice or practice rather than just a fleeting feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that to your point, like there's I guess when around this time of year with Valentine's Day and everything, we tend to go more romantic love. Like that's what we think of. But one of the things I really love, or yeah, I love, one of the things I really like is when I'm listening to a concert or something or watching a concert, and the DJ or whoever really tries to bring the crowd together for kind of a general feeling of love and try to make it more about unity and oneness, that more, I guess, agape, to use the Greek
Wow, you
Christian
fancy.
term, that love for all, I think, is a really important thing that often seems lacking in the world today. So, yeah, like I love that there are so many different ways to look at love and so many different kinds of love. Like, I think, I love my family. I don't always like my family, but I love them, and
With
friends too.
there's always that one family member where you go, you gotta love them,
You
you
only
don't have
got
to
one?
like them. Um,
I'm just kidding. We don't have to call anybody up.
no, they
You're gonna run out of toes there.
no, they know who they are.
Yeah. So I do think like one of the things that I thought was most interesting as I started looking at this is like so many people don't have um like you ask 100 people what love is, and they're going to give you 100 different answers. Um, there's not like a generally agreed upon. I mean, I'm sure there's a dictionary definition, but I bet even if you gave everybody the dictionary definition, they'd give you other they'd argue with you.
But it's interesting when I was reading, there's when the time of the ancient Greeks, they came up with a lot of different definitions and different types of love. Eros, which is romantic, passionate, physical, and sexual love driven by desire. You have philia, which is deep friendship, loyalty, and trust between equals, like comrades or best friends. You have storge, which I probably mutilating that word, natural affection and bond, often seen in family love, like parents to children. You have, as you mentioned before, agape, which is unconditional, selfless, universal love for humanity, altruistic, and compassionate. You have ludos, which is playful, flirtatious, uncommitted love, like when you're dating in the early stages. You have pragma, which is enduring, practical love, built on duty, commitment, and long term goals. You have Falacia, self
Ooh
love,
yeah.
either healthy, self compassion, or unhealthy, narcissism. And then you have mania, obsessive, jealous, possessive love, often a mix of eros and ludos.
That's when you say, "Oh, she crazy."
Yeah, yeah. Or he.
No, I mean, yeah. So one of the things that that I think really captures all of this, and I hope this isn't too long, but
It's going to be too long.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna read a
yeah.
little quickly, but I'll hit the highlights. There's a I don't know if it's a musician or what, but there's a guy calls himself Lazy Boy TV, and his album is kind of weird. It's very artsy, um, mix of comedy, mix of commentary. But he did a thing called All About Love, and there's a musical background, but he's basically just got people talking about what love is to them. And you have like the little old lady who says, "Well, we've been married almost 50 years. You have to try real hard and work at it and look away." And then some people say, "Love, it hurts, and love is the truth. Love never lies. Love is not jealous. Love is beautiful." Um, some people say, "Hey, love is my Harley Davidson, American made, nothing like it in the world," and that's like to them, that's what they love, and that's what it is.
I don't want to know what they're doing to their
Um, you know,
motorcycle.
somebody said, "When you open your eyes in the morning and then say it's a love for me, I'm happy. Don't settle, no matter how old you are." Somebody said, if you're a girl and you're 30 years old and your biological clock is ticking because you feel like you want to have to have a child, unless you find that person, don't settle. Keep looking. Even if you don't find that person until you're 40 or 45, keep looking, because once you do and you really find your soulmate, it's a love like no other. So look that song up. It's called All About Love, and it's really kind of a cool, like, people speaking in their own voice about what they think love is.
And I mean, there's a lot of different, really, ways that we all view love. There are some people who are just so passionate that they feel it in their bones, and there's some people who view it as more of logically.
Yeah,
You know, um, there's aromantic people
yeah.
who don't feel love in the traditional sense. Um, I had this over here, so
Are we gonna go into the love languages?
I do have the love languages as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So the like aromantics, there's a spectrum of like aromantics. There's much in the way that you have, you know, heterosexuals, homosexuals. There's heteromantic, homoromantic, and such. So because the aromantic people can be sexually attracted, but without the feelings that you get.
Yeah.
But there's also people that they just don't feel it at all.
There are also people who, on the other side of that, are um, really attached emotionally, but lack the sexual part. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just can't, for one reason or another. That's just not their thing, and that happens. And I think some of that is like, age can do that. There can be emotional factors, there can be stress factors, but like there are people who say like I just that's not a thing for me. I need a deep emotional connection, but I don't need that.
Right.
So
I think ultimately, in terms of if your end goal is to be in a relationship, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons with the right partner and that the partner understands what your needs are.
so I have this conversation a lot because it's just one of my core beliefs, and I had this conversation not too long ago with a couple at Cooper's Hawk, and we were sitting at the bar. Uh, the female was there with someone else's husband. They had
Oh, the one you made
yeah,
cry?
yeah. And I said we were talking about relationships, and I said, well, every relationship, no matter what it is a series of choices, and we agree upon things if we're in a relationship. Both parties or multiple parties, they all agree whether they say it or not. So whatever the state of your relationship is, you've agreed to that, and that led to some conversations that ended up with the woman crying, and I felt really bad. But that's where love. That's what love is. It's this ongoing set of agreements that you can start, and it can remain static forever. It can change. You can have a conversation one day and say, "Hey, I'm not where I was when I started this," and then you have to have a redefinition of that agreement. But I actually kind of take that more, um, that I guess that less emotional approach of like, "Hey, your emotions play a part, but ultimately, love is an agreement. It's hey, this is the way things are going to be between us, and we can choose to love one another or not. So, but we have to choose it together."
And if, as we were mentioning, if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, it's interesting, the five love languages, how we give and receive. But it's important that you understand what yours is and what your partner's is.
Mm-hmm.
And the five love languages are words of affirmation, expressing affection through spoken praise, compliments, or appreciation.
You're doing a great job, Brad.
You suck. Acts of service, doing helpful things for someone. Like I got you the tonic and I got you the
And
limes
I made
earlier
you a cocktail.
because you had to. Um, Doing helpful things for someone like chores or errands to show you care. Receiving gifts,
Hey, Brad, you
thoughtful,
want some gin?
sure, thoughtful presents that symbolize love and effort, not materialism. No takebacks. Quality time, giving someone your undivided attention, focused presence, and shared experiences. And physical touch.
Hey, look at that. We've done the full gamut.
Expressing love through appropriate physical closeness,
I like a good spanking
like
as much as the
hugs,
next guy.
holding hands, or kisses. Like the my significant other, she's definitely a physical touch.
Hey, look, man, we don't need to hear about
She,
that.
no, but
I'm joking. I'm joking.
she loves the hugs. Um, where me, um, I think mine is like acts of service.
Yeah, I think I'm more in the acts of service kind of mode. I think it shifts a little bit. I don't know that I feel like people are all one category or the other. I feel like we're weighted
Well,
more
yeah, I mean,
toward a few of them.
yeah, you have your little bits of everything, but I think we lean primarily in one way.
But I think the key to all of that is to be mindful of the fact that love gets expressed in a lot of ways, and sometimes what you look at and go, why is this person doing that, might actually be them saying, I love you. Like I cook dinner for my wife almost every night, and do I always feel like cooking dinner? Absolutely not. Are there times I would rather just let her starve? Absolutely. But I do it because I love her and I care about her and I want her to be taken care of. So yeah, I really like the idea of the love languages. I've My mom bought me the book. I skimmed it, but I like the idea more than anything.
That's awesome. Oops. Uh-oh.
So while Brad's playing with his iPad,
Yes.
um, one of the things I like dove into because of the season with Valentine's Day coming and everything is like, we have Valentine's Day here, which is very supposedly deeply rooted in Christian traditions, but it very much feels commercialized. Like most things in America, we've turned it into a money making machine. I was at Walmart the other day with Jamie, and they've got all the you know bears that are bigger than me that you can buy for your significant other, because that nothing says love like a giant stuffed animal they're not going to have anywhere to put. But some people, that's their thing. You everything's pink and red and whatever, flowers, chocolates. But apparently, it's a $20 billion a year industry.
Holy.
Yeah, and
Yep.
like I don't even have a good like fathom. I can't fathom the concept of $20 billion as like a thing. Like I understand the number, but like if you ask me to visualize $20 billion, I'd have a hard time doing it. So
But that's it goes back to you know what's important to you, what's important to your partner, and if it's important for your partner that you get them something on Valentine's, if it's going to make them happy, do it. It doesn't have to be something expensive. If it's something that has to be something expensive, and you don't have the means or the willingness to do it, then you're in the wrong relationship.
it's important to my partner that she leave town every Valentine's Day. Like I'm not
Really?
sure, we might have spent one, maybe two Valentine's days in our entire relationship because for whatever reason, her professional organization has a conference, like their biggest conference of the year, almost every year is on Valentine's Day. So my wife leaves every
Well, you
Valentine's.
can spend it with me then.
Yeah, we'll hold hands and skip through the tulips.
Well, no, I'll
We'll,
probably be at work.
we'll frolic through the wine bottles.
What day of the week is it this time?
I don't know.
It is. Oh, it's a Saturday. I'll be
Let's
at
do
work.
it.
I'll be at
I'm
work.
gonna dress as Cupid.
Do it.
But yeah, so like I was reading, I was curious about like, is Valentine's Day a thing in other places, and the answer is pretty much no. I mean, it exists, but it's not the way they do things. But there are other global holidays. Apparently, in Japan and South Korea, Valentine's Day is celebrated. Women actually give men chocolates,
Really?
and there's a separate day called White Day, where men reciprocate, which I
Okay.
thought was interesting. Um, In Denmark, lovers exchange pressed white flowers called snowdrops. Apparently, in the Philippines, they have mass weddings, like thousands of people weddings.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So, and then France has a long tradition of love letters. Like that. That's always been their thing. But other traditions, there's something, and I apologize if you're Chinese. I'm gonna do my best. It's spelled Qixi in the American. I'm guessing it's Shishi or something like that. Festival in China. It is a romantic it's centered around a romantic folk tale of star-crossed lovers separated by the Milky Way. In Wales, they have Saint Dwinen's Day, which also probably pronounced that wrong. Which,
You actually pronounced it correctly. Chi
yeah, good job.
or Chi Chi,
Chi Chi,
something like that.
also a wonderful Mexican restaurant, which is making a comeback. That was
Okay.
probably offensive. I apologize. But no, in Saint Dwinen's Day in Wales, lovers exchange carved wooden love spoons on January 25th.
Okay.
So, look, you got 3 days to get a carved wooden love spoon for your significant other. And then Romanians celebrate a springtime festival celebrating renewal and affection called Dragobete. There's also in Brazil, June 12th, tied to St. Anthony, is Dia dos Namorados, which I assume has something to do with love. And then in Israel, they have a day of matchmaking, weddings, and community joy called Tu B'Av.
Tubav.
Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av. Sounds like a
There you go.
Klingon tradition.
Okay.
All right, sorry, I'm a nerd. All right, Brad, what else you got on love?
I got nothing, man.
Well, yeah,
No.
so like I think that, like you said repeatedly, like love is what you want it to be, what you choose it to be. As long as it's healthy for you and the person you're in, and desired, and not inappropriate. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like it's whatever you want it to be, whatever you and your partner or your friend or whoever is in whatever kind of love you want to be in is there. But I think the one kind of thing I really do think we need more of in the world is like that love, sweet love. Like that. We just like everybody loves each other. We're all good. What the world needs now, love, sweet love. Sorry. All right, Brad. What's on Reddit?
Well, I'll tell you. Da, da, da. So, I got some interesting ones here. All right. Am I the asshole for putting my baby's father on child support even though he doesn't want to be involved? So, I, 22 female, got pregnant at 20 by the male, 21 at the time. We were never in a relationship. We were more like friends with benefits. After the last time we slept together, we didn't see each other for a while because I was working a lot. About 3 weeks later, I started feeling off and went to the doctor. They told me nothing was wrong. I went back the following month because I still felt something wasn't right, but again, I was told I was fine. I chalked it up to stress from working 2 jobs. Eventually, I realized my period was late. I honestly didn't think I could be pregnant, but I took a test anyway, then took more, and they were all positive. I told male that I was pregnant and scared. He told me everything would be okay, which I took as us figuring things out somehow. When I went to the doctor to find out how far along I was, I learned I was already 5 months pregnant. I didn't look pregnant, so it shocked me. When I told him, his response completely changed. He started pressuring me to get an abortion at 5 months and even tried to get me to fly to other places to do it,
Wow.
despite the fact that I was already past the legal cutoff and neither of us had the money to travel or pay for that. I told him repeatedly that I was uncomfortable, overwhelmed, high risk, and extremely stressed. He continued sending me abortion information daily. Eventually, just to protect my mental and physical health, I told him that if he wanted no part of this, he could leave me alone and I wouldn't force him to be involved. I just needed peace. Excuse me. I had the baby. He wasn't present and didn't help. Now my daughter is 2 years old. Over time, I've realized that it isn't fair that I've been financially responsible for everything on my own when I didn't make this child alone. I understand that he doesn't want to be involved, and I don't want to send my daughter anywhere she isn't wanted or where someone might resent her for existing. I'm not asking to be a parent. I'm not asking him to be a parent emotionally or physically, but I do need help financially. So I'm at the asshole for putting him on child support even though he doesn't want to see the child. This is problematic in so many different ways. Um,
I don't feel like there's any gray area here. You are
yeah,
not an asshole at all.
yeah,
Period. Like there's that's not even a question. The fact that culture makes you even question this is alarming. Because here's the thing: you didn't force him to put his dick inside you, as far as we know. And we all have to take responsibility for our actions. And so you don't want to be a parent, fine, but you still made a decision that caused this woman to incur a lot of emotional cost, physical cost, and especially financial cost because the American people don't give a shit once you have a baby.
mhm,
They're not going to help you. So I'm sorry. If you get someone pregnant, first of all, it's their body. You don't tell them to get an abortion.
right,
That's
right.
not a thing. But also, too bad, so sad. Keep it in your pants. There are ways to avoid getting someone pregnant, and you chose not to do them. So I don't see any gray area. I just
But
feel
I think that everyone is kind of the asshole in this situation. Hold on, let me explain why.
okay.
Because she has to be prepared to, because she said I don't want him to have to be there for the kid, or I have the feeling that all she wants is money. But if he's going to be paying child support and he wants to see the child, then she's going to have to understand that as well.
Well, that is his right,
Right,
and I have
right.
no problem with that. But what it sounds like is he doesn't want that. He just doesn't want to have
But I don't
anything to
think
do with it.
I don't think they've even talked about that. From what she said, I don't think that they've discussed that.
But I feel like the two things are separate. First of all, child support, like, I don't care. It should be automatic. You should not have a right to avoid having being tested. Now, if it shouldn't be at your expense if it turns out it's not your kid,
Right.
but you should not have a right to avoid being tested. You have a child with someone, child support is a given. It is
Right.
a it
He should be paying child support.
yeah.
But my point of that is they're, first of all, they're both friggin' young and
Yeah.
idiots. So I think that she needs to be prepared that if he wants to spend time with the child, she is going to have to give her child up part of the time if he wants to be involved.
Absolutely, and that's usually part of the process. Like if he has to go to court to contest the child support, he'll have an opportunity to choose that. But again, I see them as separate things. Like usually custody and child support are treated very differently by the courts and very separately by the courts. And I mean they now if somebody doesn't have custody, they're not getting child support. But like you're expected to pay child support whether you want to be involved or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, I guess I have a hard time imagining a situation where someone has a child, brings a child in this world and doesn't want anything to do with it, but it does happen.
Right, right.
But I do understand, like, yeah, I mean, if he says, okay, if I'm gonna pay for this child's college and high school and all this stuff, I want to have a part in its life. Now that can be a manipulation tactic, but that is something like you said that you go along with. But I don't think she's an asshole for asking for child
No,
support.
no, I don't think she's an asshole for asking for child support, but I think she's ignorant for the whole way that everything went about. They're both ignorant for how everything went about, um, and how that she's like, fine, you know what? You don't have to be involved. It should have never gotten there. She should have had discussions with her family about that in
But you're
preparation.
assuming she has that support system,
Oh.
also. I mean, again, I'm
I
in
think we're all
general.
assuming now.
In general, I'm gonna side with the female when it comes to getting pregnant, and especially when somebody responds by saying repeatedly, "You should get an abortion. You should get an abortion."
Well, he
Like,
was a dick for saying
like
for doing that.
now I get the whole fear of not wanting people to call you a bitch and all this stuff of like, okay, fine, you don't have to be involved. But again, financial realities, we need to know these things. We need to understand them in advance. And it sounds like you said, she was ignorant. She didn't know. So then all of a sudden the reality of raising a child, and man, diapers are expensive as shit. Formula, expensive as shit. And you get no help virtually. Like there are ways to get help if you're super poor. But yeah, it's look, if you get knocked up, the man pays child support. Period. The end. That is the end of the discussion.
No, and that's perfectly fine. But I understand what you were saying. These two things are separate, but to me, I'm not viewing it as separate because she has to understand that if he's going to be paying child support and he's then because he's having to do that, he's going to be spending time with the child, then she's going to have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, and I mean that's up to the courts. So the courts could actually just say, no, you haven't been present. You've chosen not to be present up to this point. You don't get that right. You will pay child support. And
Right,
courts
but
have been known to do that.
and he could simply say yes because this is what she said, but now that I'm having to pay, I'm going to spend time. And
But
you don't we don't know what's going to
yeah,
happen, but
yeah, no, like I said, I even though while it wasn't exactly the same, like my daughter was conceived out of wedlock. I
what?
I did get married, but some of these conversations came about, and it was never a question in my mind that I would at least pay child support. Um,
Right.
and so like to me, some of these things are just a given.
Right. And I mean, everyone's going to view things in a different way. But to my point, when you gave that to me,
But you love me enough that you want to share.
so but to my point is that she needs to have the discussion with him.
Absolutely. If he's amenable.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit more of this.
And civil.
Yeah, she needs to have that discussion and give him the choice of, hey, doing it voluntarily or do it the other way.
we can do it the easy way or the hard way.
Right.
Which one you want? All right. That's all I got, Brad. I think we covered that one pretty well. Oh, you reading anything new?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you reading anything new?
No, I'm still reading the same one.
So I got this book called like Burns' Book of Billiards, which is a bunch of like trivia and technique about pool, but it's written in a really like fun kind of casual way. And the guy, he uses a lot of humor, making fun of people who have too much attitude, too cocky, things like that. And it's actually a really enjoyable read. I do feel like I'm going to be really weird walking into the bar with a book on how to shoot certain pool shots and trying to try them. But yeah, it's actually a very good
whatever works.
Very good book. So, well, I think that's it. Do we have other things that we do?
So the next episode will be on romantic movies.
Romance.
And that which we will be recording immediately after this one, but it will be released in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna make you wait for that one, but in the interest of being timely, we're gonna start occasionally recording 2 at a time when necessary.
We do it. So.
All right.
I believe that's it.
Well, we got to do the. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and please continue to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube, right?
Yes.
And those are where all at winewhiskeyandwords.com. If you want to reach out to us, most of our social media, Brad manages. We are not on X. We don't do that. But we are winewhiskeyandwords.com. But our email is winewhiskeyandword@gmail.com.
Yes. Oh, and one other thing. In regarding from the last episode, there's 2 different Johns. What's his name? John Favreau.
Yeah.
There's 2 different John Favreaus.
Really?
One of them was the speechwriter, and the other one is the director-actor.
No, but there was an actual actor comedian.
I think it's the guy
Kumar
that played Kumar.
Okay.
That I don't know if he was a speechwriter, but I know he at least was
involved.
Okay. So.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and cheers for the next 5 minutes.